Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. We'll be talking about a brand new bridge event available to your local church coming in April. It's called Indestructible, Building an Indestructible Life in a World That's Falling Apart. I'm Larry Witzel, founder and president of SermonView. With me today is Vince Williams, vice president for marketing at SermonView. And we're also joined by Pastor Roy Ice, the speaker director for Faith for Today. As we get started, please pray with me. Father God, we just pause to acknowledge you as the Lord of this church and the inspiration driving each of our ministries. Lord, you've carried us so far through all the restrictions and the shutdowns and even powered your work forward in the midst of this pandemic. And we're anticipating even more miracles to come in the coming months. So please bless our time together now. I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen. As we get started, one more thing. If you have a question or a comment, there's a link either to the right of your video, or if you're on a mobile device, it'll be below your video. You can use that to submit questions or comments, and we'll be reviewing these throughout the webinar, and at the end, we'll have some time to answer your questions. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over now to Vince Williams to give you a big picture of the event. Vince lost internet, so that's very exciting for a live webinar. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about Indestructible. This is the next generation of online evangelistic meetings. This is a bridge event that allows local church to easily connect with people in your community in a real-time environment. The goal of the program is to get feedback from your community about where they would like your help. So you can create real relationships by focusing on the subject matter that they've expressed an interest in learning. So Indestructible is a 5-night event. It connects you with people in your community, with local viewers, and it asks them to give you permission to reach out to them for follow-up. When is Indestructible? It's going to begin April 9. It continues every night through April 13. So it's a 5-night event. We'll be running this in 6 different time zones every night. So your church will be able to share this event at an appropriate time in your area. This is a partnership between Faith for Today and SermonView. Pastor Roy Ice and Faith for Today will be handling the high quality content and promoting the event through their national channels. SermonView will offer the technology that allows hundreds of churches to receive real-time information regarding who registers, who is checked in, and interactions with each guest during every meeting. So we'll be providing the technology, and we'll also be providing all of the local marketing efforts for each individual church. So why participate? This is going to be an outreach effort like no other. And I'm going to throw this over to Vince to talk more about why you should be involved and why you should participate.
So Indestructible really is a unique event in the fact that we're going to be taking content that's going to go around the nation, all from one centralized source. And the big difference is that it's going to be connecting people directly to your local church the entire time. So that's going to mean that you're going to be supported nationally. You're going to have unique, high quality content, but all of the interactions and the engagements are going to be happening at your local church. And that's really the fundamental difference. We're also going to be getting permission from the viewers for you to be contacting them throughout the entire process. And Pastor Roy will talk a little bit more about that. So you're gonna have national advertising, unique content. We're going to be focusing the entire time on engagement and relationship. This is really answering the question of how online evangelism can function and be used in the current spectrum. We learned a lot in 2020. You guys learned a lot, we learned a lot as we went through the process of trying a lot. And we've tested a lot of this, but this is even a new and improved version of what we've been able to do in the past. And we're really excited at the partnership that we've been able to do with Faith for Today as well. So Again, we're going to get a little bit more into all the details as we go forward. But right now, what I want to do is I do want to hand it back to you, Larry, just so we can talk a little bit about why this event is such a perfect approach for 2021.
One tool that we found really helpful in looking at the overall outreach activity of a local church is the Evangelism Pyramid from Dr. Roger Walter. This pyramid illustrates the mix of outreach activities that bring maximum impact to your outreach program. So each level of the pyramid builds on the others below, resulting in a healthy church that grows organically. The first layer is friendship. Before anything else, we need to be friends with each other and with people in the community. The next layer is kindness. Get into the community and show God's love in a practical way. Kindness and compassion projects help your members think beyond themselves. And doing a kindness activity in your community every month will infuse your church culture with an outward focus and help build a positive reputation for your church. You know, the NAD's evangelism champion, Jose Cortez Jr., has been heavily promoting this monthly Compassion Sabbath. And that's because kindness and compassion activities are so foundational to evangelism. The next layer is sowing. This is where you systematically offer Bible studies and other materials to people in your community using things like Bible study card mailings, online advertising, posters, literature racks, and area businesses. You might be using SermonView's interest generator program to regularly find Bible study interests throughout the year. So you want to do intentional sowing activities, bursts of this 3 to 4 times a year if you don't have a program that's just ongoing. And the next level is bridging. Bridge events help people connect with your church in a non-threatening way. These are 2 to 5 night events that offer something of value and build bridges with people in your community. So bridge events can be focused on health or family matters. They could be religious in nature on topics like creation, biblical archaeology, or even prophecy. The goal is to help the community connect with your members in a non-threatening way, offering them something of value. So you want to aim to do 3 to 4 bridge events every year. And finally, the top of the pyramid is reaping. This is your evangelistic series focused on helping people make decisions for Jesus. When it's built on a foundation of friendship, kindness, and bridge events, you're going to see more success in your reaping events. So this is the Evangelism Pyramid. Another framework that we talk about is the Evangelism Funnel, which is a sequence of steps that you take to help someone make a decision for Christ and a decision to grow in their spiritual walk. What's interesting is that the pyramid could actually be looked at as a funnel. A funnel breaks down a big high friction decision into smaller low friction steps. It's called a funnel because not everyone continues on to the next step, so that the number of people in each step gets progressively smaller. So this idea of a funnel and getting people into the funnel and moving them, taking specific actions to move them progressively through the funnel. Now, our experience over the last 10 months is that reaping events at the very top of the pyramid, reaping events are very difficult to do successfully online. We've worked with a number of churches to do reaping events. We did a big national event with Forecasting Hope. We've done those, but in terms of actually getting decisions for baptism, seeing people make decisions for baptism, online reaping event has not been as effective as we had hoped. However, that doesn't mean that we can't do anything. We can't do any type of event. And there are online events that we can hold that will help your interests move down the funnel, even if they don't get through to the reaping stage. And what you're doing through this process is cultivating these interests so that when things do open up again and you're able to do a full message reaping series in your local church in person, that you're going to have more interests, more people in the orbit of your church ready to make those life-changing decisions. So this leads us to Indestructible. Indestructible is a bridge event. It's designed to connect you with secular people in your community. And we've partnered with Faith for Today for this event. Their new speaker director, Roy Ice, will be the presenter for this series. And at this time, Roy, I'd like to give you a few minutes to share your vision for Indestructible and to tell us more about the content of this series.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Larry. And thank you to all of you, my fellow pastors that are out there trying to figure out how do we connect, especially at this day and age where connecting with people has been a real challenge. I've been a local pastor for 27 years. I've been in small churches, medium churches, large churches. I know the challenge of how do you connect with the neighbors around. We want to do outreach, but typically outreach turns into just servicing about 0.2% of your population, the people who are really destitute, the people who are in deep need, but it doesn't really reach the people who are upwardly mobile, highly motivated, people who are, looking for the things that we can offer from a holistic standpoint. So first of all, I just want to start out and let you know, I've only been doing this job for a year, and I haven't forgot what it feels like to be a pastor in a local church. In fact, I'm extremely passionate about helping churches in the local level. One of the reasons why I accepted this position is because the mandate for Faith for Today is to figure out a media ministry question we've had for decades. How do we produce media that drives people from the population that live right there in your community, right into your church with meaningful conversations, meaningful relationships, and ultimately fill your pews because of what we're doing from the media ministry standpoint. And I'm really, really excited because God has brought a lot of pieces together, brought a bunch of different individuals, SermonView and Faith for Today together in a way that I'm extremely passionate that we are going to fulfill that mandate of doing something so significant and so relevant that it touches so many people in your community that they want to have a communication with you. And all of the follow-up, everything that we're leading people to is to your church. It's not building up Faith for Today. We're not leading them back to us. We're leading them to you to have the conversations, to be able to walk with people and grow with people in your community. And so I'm going to talk with you about that in a moment. But first, some of you don't know me. And a lot of you that are on here, you know me because I invited you personally. And I'm really delighted that they accepted my invitation and you're here trying to figure out what are we doing differently? How are we innovating how we do our media evangelism events? How is it exactly what you've been looking for, but it hasn't existed up until now? So I'm delighted that you're here. I've most recently worked for 7 years as a pastor at Loma Linda University Church, and just within the past year have come on as the new speaker director for Faith for Today. Possibly your church is using the 12 People You Love discipleship curriculum that I wrote a few years ago, really helping your church to understand how do you become a wonderful place for people who don't know what we're all about and introduce them to the most loving community right in the middle of their neighborhood. And so for those of you that know me, it's good to see you. For those of you that don't, I look forward to meeting you face to face, to working with you. I'm a guy that rolls up my sleeves. I work in the trenches, and I really want to help answer the question, how will the events that we do, how do the television programs that I'm producing and all of this fit together to help you have an easier time connecting with your community, helping to actually even rebrand how people see Adventism in your community because we've had a positive influence and a positive effect on their lives to say, wow, I am really curious about these people. They have a church right in my town. Now, one of the things that drove me to be passionate about what I'm about to show you, this approach to this event, this evangelistic event, one of the things that really, really drove me to write the 12 People You Love and to create this event is listening to the data that our now NAD president, Elder Bryant, presented about 4 years ago that I saw. It was 8 years of data that was collected from the individuals who had left our church. You realize that over that 8-year period, we lost 33.4% of our membership. Over 1/3 of our membership left. And Elder Bryant and all of us need to be very interested in why. And he was so interested, he did data collection. He surveyed the people to say, why did you leave? The interesting thing is that he discovered that 91% of the people that left the Adventist church during that time period left because they had no meaningful relationships within the church. Only 4% of the people that were surveyed said they left because they had a problem with our doctrine. They had a disagreement with some of our theology. 5% left because they had a fight with someone else, but 91% left because they just felt like nobody cared. Nobody wanted to go on a journey with them. No one wanted to befriend them and say, hey, I'm going on this journey too. I'm not perfect. Can you go along with me? Can you walk with me as we get to know how to live our best life possible here? How to get to know the God who loves us dearly, and ultimately how to share that with as many people around us, that this is not all there is. There's a God who loves us, who cares about us, wants us to live a great life today, but also wants us to help people understand that there's an eternal life tomorrow. And so when I saw that data, it really hit my heart, because I don't know how many times you've used this quote. I've used it quite a bit, but it's one of our favorite quotes in evangelism. It's from Ministry of Healing, page 143, that says, Christ's method alone will give true success in reaching the people. You already know what comes next. There's a long list of things that we go through. But in my opinion, I think a lot of church members and some pastors actually skip over the very next phrase. And it's the most powerful phrase, and it's the thing that we're going to set up. We're going to set up excuses for people in your community, secular people, religious people who just aren't really connected to a church that they feel like is really helping them on their journey. But it's this next phrase that we're going to help you with in a revolutionary way. And that phrase is that Christ mingled with men as one who desired their good. It's kind of hard to mingle with people when you knock on a door, go door to door and say, hi, I've got a bunch of things I want to talk to you about and I want to be your friend. That's just really awkward. And I probably wouldn't invite you in myself. And the other thing is, a lot of people know the Adventist church as people who are very confident that we have superior doctrine, superior theology, and a superior understanding of the end time events and all of that. I'm not in any way criticizing the way that we historically have done evangelism, but I do have an opinion, and maybe some of you share my opinion. We need to continue sharing biblical prophecy with people. We need to keep encouraging people and helping them understand where we are in Bible prophecy, where we are in the last days. I think that's important for us to continue. I'm not saying that we need to stop that. What I am going to present to you, and I think you'll see it as I present to you, that the majority of the people in your community have been exposed to that element of what we bring in a beneficial way into their life. And they've just said, not really interested. But there is a huge percentage of people in your community who are interested in something that is very much Adventist. And it's us not bait and switching and trying to be something that we're not. And that's something that I want to talk to you about today. The journalistic community, the scientific community have been coming to us recently extremely curious about the Seventh-day Adventist. And some of you already know why. You can guess. We are the only blue zone that's not geographically based. And all of us, I am assuming, know what a blue zone is. It's those people groups that live to 100 years more than any other people group. 4 of the blue zones are geographic. You got to travel to Japan. You got to go to Costa Rica. You got to go to Italy. You got to go to Greece to explore and say, what are these people doing that's helping them live longer? They're happier. They're healthier. Why is it that the pandemic is not affecting their community as much as our community? Well, as a pastor in Loma Linda for 7 years, you can imagine all of the journalistic crews, the news crews, the reporters who would come in and want to talk to me about why is it that the Seventh-day Adventists are this group of people that live longer, they live better. It's been scientifically proven that they're happier, they're healthier, financially more fit, their relationships are better, the divorce rate is not the same. Why is it that you as a blue zone are doing better than the general public? Why is it that I, as a male in North America, am expected to live 10 to 12 years longer than my counterparts who aren't part of the Adventist church? People are curious. They really want to know, what are you doing to live longer, live happier, live better? Just not long ago, I was filming for Lifestyle Magazine, Faith for Today's flagship television program. I was filming and we interviewed Rob Paulson. Now that name might not mean anything to you, but for some of you, you'll recognize his work. He's an Emmy Award-winning voice actor for cartoons. He won that Emmy for Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He also is Yakko on the Animaniacs. He helped develop from a white paper to what it is today, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Donatello and Michelangelo. He's done G.I. Joe, Transformers. This guy's done over 2,000 voices and is one of the highest ranked voice actors in animation. Well, he's worked with Steven Spielberg on the Animaniacs. He was asked by Steven Spielberg to do a reboot of the Animaniacs, which just came out in November on Hulu for at least 2 more seasons. The issue is, right when he discovered that Steven Spielberg wanted to reboot the Animaniacs, he also discovered something else. He discovered he had throat cancer. I mean, here it is, a voice actor discovers he has throat cancer. This might be life-ending, definitely chances are it was going to be career ending, and he had to figure out how to fight through it. He has an incredible story. So I had him on the television program to talk about how he went through that, what attitude he had to have in order to combat that, and what it did to change him internally as he went through this process. Afterwards, after our conversation, we're taking photos together, and I just shared with them, when I was out of college and in '93 when I graduated, watching Pinky really helped me to decompress after 14 hours of going and doing pastoral work and doing home visitations and all that. And he says, graduated from college, '93. How old are you? And I said, I'm over 50. And he goes, what? I thought you were in your 30s. And I said, yeah, well, I'm a member of the Blue Zone. He goes, the Blue what? I say, yeah, I'm a member of a Blue Zone. And he goes, I got to learn more about that. Because although he was only 12 years older than me, I looked decades younger than him. And he wanted to know why. He says, here's my number. I have to know, what's this Blue Zone about? This is the big question that people are wanting to know. What is this Blue Zone? What are the Adventists doing that's so different, that's affecting their life to live differently? Well, at Lifestyle Magazine, we've actually repositioned the show to cover 5 key ways to help you live longer and better. We've also repositioned the show to be the only life coaching television series anywhere in the world. And in the show, we've discovered that there are 5 keys to help you live longer and better. They spell the word aware, and they stand for attitude, wellness, activity, relationships, and existence. You don't have to write it down. You're going to see in the packet that you get for your church board. What does that mean? Well, what we've discovered is that by presenting this to the public, now they're asking us the questions we need them to ask. What is it that Adventists are doing naturally? What are they doing spiritually? And what are they doing culturally to live a different experience than the people that are living around them? And because of that, it's allowing them to ask us questions in areas we've typically downplayed. Now, I don't know if you've gone through this experience where you've gone through an evangelistic series, the theology has convinced the people, this is great stuff. This is truth. And then we bring them in, they're baptized, and then we have this awkward conversation because we realize to become Adventist is not simply to agree with specific theological points of truth. To become an Adventist also requires cultural change. We joke about it. Those of us who've grown up Adventists, we have our own lingo. We even have our own haystacks, and people don't know what we're talking about. We've typically looked at the culture of Adventism, the way that we live different, as an obstacle to evangelism. Well, we brought them in, but we hope that because we're telling them not to eat these things, not to do these things, to add these things to their life and take these other things away from their life. We have typically viewed the cultural things that we do, which make us a blue zone, as an obstacle, when in reality today, in a world that's falling apart, in a world that's saying, how can I protect myself from being high risk during a pandemic? How can I not have high core morbidities? How can I make sure I'm healthy, and that should issues come about, my body is more prepared. My life is more prepared. If tragedy should come into my life, I'm spiritually more prepared. My attitude, my outlook, my relationships are prepared for the tough things that come. It's the culture of Adventism, the thing that we've seen as an obstacle, which is actually the most attractional thing to the people in your neighborhood right now. Why? Because we didn't come up with the data. We didn't come up with the science. Scientists did, who are outside Adventism. Journalists outside of Adventism have said, we want to know more. So what we are doing is 5 nights of revolutionary introductions, 5 ways to help people in a world like today that's falling apart. How do you help them build an indestructible life? And in doing that, every single event, which is less than a half an hour streaming video, we are utilizing not only things that I'm sharing, but also we're utilizing clips that we've taken of celebrities, of authors, of experts, people that they'll recognize, people that they'll be excited to hear, kind of the Paul Harvey, the rest of the story from some of these individuals, NFL football players, actors, actresses, athletes. These people are sharing how what we have to offer as a church is the best way to live possible. And also it allows us, as we go through these 5 keys, especially on night 5, to help people understand their existence. Why are you here? Where are you going? Where'd you come from? And what is your divine calling? There is a God who placed you in the time and the place that you are to do something significant. And in doing that, it helps people understand that we as an Adventist church are not simply about getting ourselves savable, but we also understand that God gave us a responsibility to do something revolutionary in our communities, to help other people be in a saving relationship. And God created within you a divine purpose and calling to be able to do that, to share that in a way that nobody else could, because they're not you and they don't have the same divine purpose that God planted within you. Now, every single session that we have, all 5 of these sessions, just like on the screen that you have, to the right of the video that's playing right now, you'll see that there are opportunities for you to in some way respond or request for things. In the same way, every night for each of those key areas, there will be a time when I will call the people to action. Hey, if you'd like more information on this, perhaps this really piqued your interest, and this is something you want more information, or you want someone to talk with you about this, I want you to click the button right on the screen. Let us know how we can help you out, because that's why we're here. That's our purpose. And so we will be doing things like that throughout every single session to help people. Ultimately, this is the thing I want you to understand from me. The thing that I will quantify, and I take it extremely serious, is that the quantification is not the number of baptisms. And I want to tell you, this is very, very important, because you will have a lot of baptisms come from this. But the thing that I want you to quantify is how many new relationship opportunities do you have? How many new points of contact? How many opportunities do the people from your church leadership, and the basic membership have to say, now finally, we have a connection, a direct, meaningful friendship with people in our community we never had before? Because what we're going to do is we're going to love those people, and we're going to serve those people, and we're going to help them understand why we do some of the awesome things that we do that make us a blue zone. And in doing that, we are going into a long-term relationship, because we don't want the 91% to leave after this event. We want to introduce 100% of these people to a church that wants to go into a meaningful relationship with them. And it may be a year. It may be 18 months before the Holy Spirit does his work, which is convicting the hearts of man to say, you know what, this is the group of people that has loved me like no one ever has. This is a group of people that's supporting me. This is a group of people that care about me physically, mentally, and spiritually. This is a group that loves me like no other group in this community, and they care about my present and they care about my future. And the Holy Spirit uses that moment to give them conviction of the heart. Now, I use this metaphor with people before about when people are dating and they just get introduced. Would you be happy if your daughter came home after a week or two, or maybe even 6 weeks of dating somebody and said, hey, we're engaged, we're getting married? You might get a little bit upset because how much do you know this person? What if it's a bad relationship? And yet we typically look at people making the most important commitment of their life, a life commitment to Christ, and say within 6 weeks, we have to have this decision come. And then after that decision, we don't invest in those people in loving friendship ways. That's why 91% of them leave. So I want you to look at this as the opportunity that it is and the way that needs to be calibrated for the way evangelism needs to work in today's world. This is an event to bring you the people that you've never had before for a reason that they want to get to know you. And in this process, we're going to quantify how many new friendships do you have and how willing is your church to befriend people who are on a journey, who ultimately will, by the Holy Spirit's power, through the conviction of their heart, make a lifelong commitment to Jesus Christ and allow you to be the community that helps support them along that journey. This is a new culture. This is definitely a new approach to evangelism, but I am passionate. I am absolutely convinced that this is, if I was still in a local church, I would be so excited that someone is actually introducing me to this new group of people, upperly mobile, people who are saying, I want to truly live an exceptional, successful experience, and to introduce me to these people that I can just be me, they can be them, and we can start growing together and forming relationships. Because if you have a relationship, you have influence. If you have no relationship, you have no influence. And so I'm excited about this. I hope you can see what we're trying to do in an innovative way, in a relevant way, in a way that you can be proud of, because in this life coaching event, we're really going to be showing the heart and soul of what makes us a blue zone and how we really have something to share to the people in our community to help them in this life and in the one to come. And so I know we're going to have a lot of questions and questions and answers at the end. I look forward to answering those for you. So make sure you fill in those questions as you have them here. And at this time, I'd like to throw it back to Vince to help you understand how we're going to do this and what's some of the technology that we're going to use. It's going to blow your mind, because the connection and the data you will have of these individuals in your community will truly help you have that relationship that you want to have. Thanks so much, guys. And Vince, take it away.
Thanks, Roy. First of all, you can see why we're so excited to partner with Faith for Today and Pastor Roy on this project. It's a unique opportunity for us to really reach into a different demographic than we've been able to do before. We've been doing evangelism, marketing, and working with you local churches for well over a decade. And this is really a unique approach. And I'll tell you one of the things that I am most excited about, and then we'll get into the technology, and that is how that handoff happens. We know we're going to have great quality content. We know Faith for Today is going to put out amazing stuff. But really, what does a lead look like? And we'll tell you how you're going to get them and how you're going to manage them in just a second. But I want to talk about how that relationship gets built through an online event. Instead of just giving you names and numbers and saying, go figure it out, we're going to be working with you so closely through this process in training, but also in what we call permission-based marketing. And that's a kind of a businessy term, but let's just talk about what that means. That means that people in the community are going to be sharing with you exactly what it is that they need from you. That gives you such an opportunity to build those relationships that Pastor Roy was just talking about. So once every episode, during each episode, there's going to be an opportunity for people to engage and really share with you, this is important to me. This is something I want to take deeper. This is something I want to do. And then the follow-up is really just self-directed by you guys. And we're going to give you lots of opportunities and suggestions, but you're going to decide how you want to do it. You're going to know what to do. This isn't just a name on a piece of paper that gets to you 3 weeks later. The very day that somebody says, I'm really interested in learning more about relationships, my marriage is struggling. What do you want to do with, to build those people up and to build that community? What do you want to do for those people that are really interested and focused on the health aspects of this message? And so we're going to be asking them to be giving you information, insight, and permission to contact them utilizing this system. So let's talk about the technology and what we've been able to put together. And I do want to share that this technology suite that we've put together is one that we've been able to test all last year. It's improved. If you've done Forecasting Hope, like we did with Chesapeake and Across the Nation, or if you've done some of the other events with us, you may have seen the benefits of this. You may have seen some of the struggles. We ran into a couple problems, 1 or 2, but this has now been tested on a wide scale. This is powerful software. We've had a year to really kind of work out some of the kinks, and we know that this is going to be super effective for you and your community because we've seen it work. So let's just talk about what it is that you get when you participate in Indestructible. So the software platform that we put together is really a suite of 4 different programs, which can sound overwhelming, but they all interconnect and we handle it all for you, so you don't have to worry about it. It all starts with Interest Tracker. Interest Tracker is the cornerstone of the program. It is a cloud-based, web-based application that right now we have about 780 churches using across the NAD right now. So there's a good chance that you've already used this software or you are using this software. It is growing all the time in its feature set and our attention to it. It is free to any church within the North American division. So all you have to do is let us know that you want it, or of course, if you register for this event, you're going to get connected with it anyway. But it really is powerful software that is going to help you guys manage these interests and work through it. Then there's Attendance Tracker. This is a module that's connected to it. If you did Forecasting Hope or have done a couple of other events with us last year, you may have used it. We're continuing to grow that project as well and improve the caliber of that software. But this is a really easy way for you to not only get that permission, but to see how engaged they are. The new metric that we're all using in an online environment is engagements. And that's what all of this is about, is building those engagements, which build relationships with you and your community. Relevant Seminars, this is our software for creating landing pages and helping convert people from interest to registered potential viewers. And then, of course, the interactive sermon viewer, which is the player, which, by the way, you're in right now and you're engaging with as we go through this process. We'll talk about that more on later. So let me unpack each of these pieces of software and how they're going to perform together to help you have an effective event this April. So Interest Tracker is the complete interest management platform for helping Adventist churches manage interests on their way to membership. So it is a cloud-based system that is designed solely from the ground up for this purpose. It is free, again, to churches within the North American division, as we talked about. Unlimited users with 3 permission levels and custom notifications. What does that mean? It means that you can set up as many members of your church and your team as you want in the software. You can have 3 levels. So you have your admins, you can have a coordinator who's overviewing all of this, and then you have basic users or potentially just members that are engaging with individuals. Right? Then you have custom user notifications. Those custom user notifications help you stay engaged in real time. For example, some of you have been, I'm a user in our account, and some of you have been assigned to me. Some of you have been coming through my text throughout this entire webinar with different conversations that you've been having. So I would know to log back in and engage with you throughout that entire process. It tracks interactions, decisions, and then we have notes and requests all on one page. So simple to see, one-page information. What we're really looking for here is engagements, which are interactions, but we have a decision system so that you can use this, moving people all the way to membership and baptism. We have a notes platform for it as well. And any requests that they make for any additional items or anything come right through the system. And all notifications, again, go through our notification system by email or SMS text. There's easy filtering and tags. So now you don't just have a bunch of data, you have easily usable data. We've trained on this a number of times. It really is a very flexible system. We've seen it used in many different use cases for different churches. A lot of them use it for membership because it's such a good system for that as well. And the exported data is very simple. You can copy and paste data out. You can create PDFs, Excel, CSV with a single touch of a button. So it's very user-friendly. And it's something we've really had a couple of years to hone and improve as we've worked with you local churches and have been hearing from you what your needs are with this software. The second piece, Attendance Tracker, is a module, integrates right into Interest Tracker, and it's designed to track meetings both in person and online, which is really unique because this software gives you that big picture. Right now, we're doing a lot more online, but if you're doing an in-person meeting as well, or Bible studies or anything else, you can use this software for that purpose. Part of registration is a 1-year membership or subscription to Attendance Tracker. It's about $295 value, and you're getting that when you register for Indestructible. So you can use this not just for this event, but you can use it for other events as well. It has a nightly online check-in system. You guys use that again right now. You went from a notification to a check-in page, which took you into the viewer. And that is exactly what will happen with Attendance Tracker. As soon as you checked in, we were notified in Attendance Tracker. We can see who checked in real time. We can comment back, we can request, we can talk to you, we can filter, we can do all the good work. You can create unlimited events for yourself and meetings after this event. So that's a great opportunity for you to test this out. I've worked with churches closely to use this software package for bigger events, but again, for Bible studies, you can do it segmented by zip codes or areas and create individual study groups. You can do this for your worship service. You can do it online and in person if you're splitting that right now. So there's a lot of different opportunities to use this software in a way that is beneficial to your team, to give you data, and also just accountability to those people as they check in. You can easily email or text interest based on attendance. You can filter down to what nights they attend, and then you can submit those depending on whether or not you have the SMS package we'll talk about in a second. And it integrates seamlessly into Interest Tracker, so you get a full profile. And what does that mean? Not only do you know that somebody attended, but again, you know what their interests are, you know what requests they've made, you know what engagements they've made with your church. And that's really important so that you have the big picture of how to build a relationship. It's like a profile. Pastor Roy talked a little bit about sort of dating. Think of that information profile that happens out there with different things. So this is that sort of thing. You get a big picture of who they are, and it really helps you just move that relationship forward. Relevant seminars. This is software that we've been working on and improving over the last 4 or 5 years, probably longer. This is personalized landing page and registration platform. This is really an important key to the process. There's a couple things about relevant seminars that's so powerful. One, we get national level data. We've built thousands of these sites, and so we know what works. For some of you who may have built a website to try and convert people to registrations, you may have found what most churches have found. It's not as easy as putting a form on a website and just getting people to sign up. There are so many technical aspects to doing it in a way that increases engagement, increases actual conversion, and works. We get that data at the big picture level, and we pass that through our system so that you're getting the best landing pages and registration sites through the process. The other thing is it's your personal site. And what that means is all those leads aren't going up to some other area and coming back down. They're staying with you. It's your portal, and everything goes directly into your Interest Tracker account. So every registered church gets added to the national registration platform. This is an opportunity so that when Faith for Today broadcasts this, and I was just talking to Pastor Roy about the fact that they're going to be able to even do more national advertising than I thought. They're going to be able to put commercials into some of the airtime segments that they have across the nation. They're also going to be using some of their other digital media platforms as well to be getting this message out there and really promoting this all across. So if you're doing it in this area, if there's not a church doing it in an area, that somebody's going to be interested in doing this, and they're going to find that the closest zip code to them is going to be a ways away. How the system is going to work is they're going to go in, just put a zip code, and it's going to send them right to your portal if you're the closest church. So you're not getting conversations with somebody across the country. This is so that you can get as many people from your local area to watch this national level content, and you can connect with it throughout this process. So automatically sends confirmation emails and texts. Again, most of you have witnessed this through this process. We sent you emails and texts reminding you about the event. If this was an ongoing nightly event, you'd be getting reminder texts as well throughout this entire process, as well as emails and texts based on your preferences. That's those nightly meetings notifications. We're also going to be making sure that for this particular event, we do everything we can to improve that conversion from registration to attendance. We know not everyone who registers is going to attend, although remember, if they gave you their information, they were genuinely interested, you should still contact them. That's why we collect registrations. But we're going to try and improve that with certain techniques during the confirmation process that we've learned over the last year. Automatically builds and adds to existing interest tracker profiles. So as soon as they register, it's going to bring them into interest tracker, add to that profile. If these are people who've already engaged within your community, then it's going to go ahead and add to that profile and make the experience, build that profile out even more and make it more clear. And again, all your local leads stay with you. They don't move up. These are not for Faith for Today. These are not for SermonView. These are for you. We are working for you so that you can build relationships in your community. And then finally, the interactive sermon viewer. And this is probably the most exciting piece of it. And this is one of our newer things, but we have tested this now at a very large scale across the nation. But the sermon viewer is an interactive player that allows guests to engage with local churches in real time. So all engagements go right to you. What does this mean? This means that when they go from their registration to their notifications, we'll walk through this in just a second, to their check-in, they're going to go to this player, and this player is going to know it's for you. And so every time they engage, they're going to be coming through. The same way you guys are engaging with the player you're in right now, those notifications are coming to our team, and some of those are coming straight through to my phone right now as we're having this dialogue. Options for prayer requests, comments and questions, and nightly offers will be moved directly into Interest Tracker. The player you're in now is a good example, but it's going to be an even more improved and more customized player for Indestructible. We're continually working on the way that offer is. So you're going to be able to have people request prayer. You're going to know what they're praying for. What a great opportunity to reach out to somebody right then. Nobody's going to be frustrated if they said, I need prayer, and you contact them to pray for them. That's what they asked for. They're going to have the opportunity to request questions or comments or talk through those things. Again, this is an opportunity for you to engage. And finally, they're going to have an opportunity every single night to tell you of an extended interest they have in one of the key subjects that Pastor Roy is going to talk about. And when they do that, it's going to come right through your interest tracker so that you can build a profile and say, I have 20 people that are desperately interested in building their relationships. Let's do something with that. Or we have 20 people that are really interested in exercise. I have somebody on my in my church who wants to have a walking program or do something else. There's opportunities out there, and we're going to be recommending different things. Had great conversations with Faith for Today so far. They have so many great suggestions for different ways that you can respond throughout this process. We also have a full user manual that goes through all that as well. Viewing only available through the check-in system. This is really great. So one of the things that's been happening is that there's been a big question about width versus depth. The challenge with width, and when we say that, what we mean is let's just post it on Facebook, let's put it on YouTube, let's put it everywhere. Anyone can see it. But you really don't have a way to engage with those people. So you're hoping that they're going to take another action step. This is limited. So if people are hearing about it locally and nationally, they have to register and they have to check in through the system. And by doing that, they will automatically be coming in through your system, and that way they can only engage throughout the process as well. So that is really important. Pastor Roy, did you have something you want to say about that? Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Vince. I was talking with Larry. A question had come up that we're going to deal with Q&A, and I just want to let Larry know I'd love to address that during that
Sorry,
time. So,
I didn't see that.
Sorry for the chat interruption.
I'll keep moving on. Okay, so we handle all the integrations and connections. That means all this technical stuff I'm telling you right now, don't let it overwhelm you. We handle it. We take care of it. We're here to work for you. So let me show you how this looks. So this is showing you exactly what a guest experience is. And again, this is very familiar to how you guys learned about it. The first thing is they're going to learn through national advertising or local advertising. If If you do one of our local promotion packages, we're going to be running Facebook advertising, potentially Google advertising, depending on what you choose. And those ads are going to be showing up right in your local geolocation area. Somebody's going to see the ad, they're going to be interested, just the way you saw an email potentially or a personal invitation, and you went to a website. That website is going to be through our Relevant Seminars platform and the registration page. They're going to register right then, and then they're going to get reminders, but depending on their preferences, for SMS or email. Then on the night of, they're going to get a final reminder or set of reminders. It's going to take them to check in. And through check-in, they're going to go right in here and they're going to watch Pastor Roy give one of the presentations. However, on the back end, there's so much going on. Every time they're engaging, whether it's on Relevant Seminars, through the check-in program, or through the sermon viewer, it's flowing into your interest tracker and attendance tracker. That means you're going to know every single step of the way in real time what is going on with the guests, the interest, the registrants, and the viewers throughout this entire process that have come through your local portal and from your local area. This is a powerful way for you to start to build a list of people in your community that you can engage with and build deep relationships with, and they're going to give you permission to do it. So we've talked a lot about the national advertising package that Faith for Today is going to be put together throughout this process. That is incredibly powerful stuff. But I do want to point out that to maximize the effectiveness of this program in your community, we are recommending that you do some promotional campaign in your local area. It allows us to do geolocated ads in your specific area that are targeted to the messaging and the people in your area. And in fact, what we found is that churches that invest in local marketing receive an average of 3 to 5 times more guests than those that simply receive leads through national campaigns. Remember, we've built an expertise over the last decade plus in getting people, non-Adventists who are interested in these subjects, to register and respond to those kinds of local ads. And we'll be taking care of all of that for you. So let's take a look at kind of how this all breaks down so you know what's involved. Now, remember, on the page that you're on right now, there is a free gift offer. That free gift offer tonight only is the board packet. So if you want to receive a board packet that has all of these detailed pieces of information so that you can talk to your board, please just put your information in that. We'll get that and we will send that out to you immediately. But let's talk about event registration. Event registration for this event is $795. $795 gets you all of these things. You'll be placed on the National Zip Code Finder. You get 1 year of attendance tracker for your church. That's a $295 value. We're going to be setting up your interest tracker account if you haven't already done that. We're going to set you up with a basic registration landing page. You get national advertising and support from Faith for Today throughout the entire process on their entire media platform. And we're going to load you up with host resources, training opportunities throughout the entire process for you and your members. And we're going to have host support throughout. We have really put a lot of effort into making sure that you feel supported and you know what the next steps are. I just was able to read through the user manual that we're going to be giving you guys, and it is incredibly articulate, clear, concise, and powerful. And I'm excited for you guys to see the opportunities that are going to arise out of this program. But better yet, because we need you guys to make a decision fast so that we can support you in the best possible way, we're going to be offering an early bird special. So for $495, forget the $795, for $495 through February 26th, your church can register and participate in this event. Now, registration is not open yet. It will be open Wednesday of next week. That's when registration will be open, and you'll be able to take advantage of that $495 offer. However, this week, the best thing to do is make that request for the board packet so you can get information in front of yourself and your board. All right, we did put together 3 packages to make this really simple for you guys outside of registration. Registration includes all of that. But again, if you want that 3 to 5 times guests, non-Adventist guests that are going to be registering for this event, we recommend that you participate in one of these packages. We're making it very simple for you. Every one of them includes registration. So the first tier is perfect for those churches that are going to be in that, 5 to 15,000 people range. And you get all the benefits of registration built into this price point. So if you do it after February 26th, it's $12.95, but right now, $9.95. You get access to Interest Tracker, the 1 year, the basic portal, the national advertising. But really what you get on top of all of that is $500 in local, geolocated advertising in your community, working with one of our marketing coordinators and our trained people who've done this all day. And because of that, we really expect that with a budget like this, you're going to see 14 to 16 probably non-Adventist guests. So for $500, when you think about what you've gotten before or in previous marketing events or evangelistic series with your marketing, that $500 giving you 14 to 16 registrants. That's a national average. We've seen that time and time again, even throughout the pandemic. And honestly, it could go even higher with an event of this stature. Again, remember, we're going to be being able to promote that celebrities are going to be on this thing. There's just a lot of great stuff that we're going to be able to promote throughout this throughout the series. The second package is that next step up and is really for those 20K and kind of upwards into the 50K, maybe even 100K in your community, people you want to reach. It's going to give you everything that the original package did, but we add a couple of things. We have the personalized website. Actually, both of these get that. What's the personalized website? That is the ability to have a website that has what we call a vanity URL. So now it'd be indestructibleu.org/ your city name or maybe your church name or something like that. It allows you to advertise more easily so that you have a URL that people can find and go to, and you can advertise it on your own social media platforms and to your own through your own members. So you get that with any of these packages as well. That's a $295 value because we're building extra things into those web pages. Then on the second package, you get $1,500 worth of Facebook and Google ads. So now, and again, these are all for your area. Facebook, right, is a great advertising model because we're putting it in front of the correct demographic and growing people of interest that way. Google's great because anytime people are searching throughout the whole experience, so the sooner you sign up for this, the faster we get that program up for you. So when somebody in your community is searching for ideas of health or fitness or long life or blue zones, I mean, there's so many keywords we're attributing to this. They're going to see this ad and they're going to go to this and they're going to sign up for this event. That's somebody who's really highly engaged. They were searching for this information. And if we're not there, they're going to go somewhere else. We're going to be at the top of that list through paid advertising. You're also going to get a year of SMS messaging in the second package and the third package. And that allows you to go right into Interest Tracker, filter down to the people that either attended, didn't attend, the people that are for this event, your members, your non-members. There's so many ways you can filter down, and then you can send a bulk text or individual text through that process. And that is included. That's a $360 value throughout the year. You get a year of that in this package at $19.95. And then $29.95, you get all that same good stuff, but we're going to even spend more money on Facebook and Google. So you're going to want to be in an area that's, 50,000 plus people in your area so that we can, utilize that money effectively. And on that on the second tier, we estimate 40 to 45 non-Adventist guests coming out of that advertising package. And we look at 65 to 70 potentially coming out of the largest complete bundle that we're offering you guys based on national averages. Could be more in a couple areas, could be a little less if you're up here in the Northwest with us where people are a little more hesitant. But again, with this subject matter, this could really just change that paradigm and even bring more people in. We're going to maximize that advertising for you. The last one in the complete bundle also includes a personalized print pack. So you're going to have a big banner with your custom URL talking about this event out on your lawn of the church or wherever you can get high visibility. Powerful two ways. Somebody might register from that, but more likely they're going to go home. Then they're going to see the Google ad, the Facebook ad. They're going to connect the dots and they're going to sign up. It's also going to build an interest in the fact that it was, somehow connected with your church in the local area. You also get 500 mailable invitation cards. And those invitation cards are great for handing out or again, mailing to your personal interest, hand them to your members and have them mail them out, whatever, so you can get that personal invitation going. The advertising we're talking about is really us working in your community to find people that are interested that you don't know. Obviously, the best thing you can do in your community is get your members engaged. And on a subject like this, with this quality of content, I think it's going to be very easy to get your members engaged and telling their friends about this. This is content that people are going to be excited to share with their friends, which is one of the things I'm so excited about. Remember, if you do it before February 26th, you don't even have to look at that top line price. You get to save money and you get to get that early bird special. So we'd love for you to get that board packet so you can start the process and start registering by next week so that we can help you out in the best possible ways. All right, in summary, Before we get to the questions that you guys have, there are a couple things that I'm just hoping you took away from this webinar. First, Indestructible is an online event designed for you to get in contact with a new demographic. These are people that you're going to be reaching in a new way. They're going to tell you how they want you to engage with them, and they're going to ask you to engage with them. That's powerful, powerful stuff in your community. 5-night event. It starts April 9th, so kind of keep that date in mind. Registration opens next Wednesday, January 27th. You'll be able to go online and go through the entire registration process, order your promotional materials, and move straight through, getting quick access to your host resources, user manual, and all the good stuff right after that. Early bird registration ends February 26th. Please put that on your calendar. The only reason we're doing that is because we need to incentivize you guys to act quickly so that we can maximize the effectiveness of this. We can get your name on the national site locator. We can get those local ads placed for you guys in a way that's powerful throughout the season. And also, if you haven't done it already, I know I've been hammering it, request a free board packet for your review. All right. I'm going to hand it back to Larry. He's going to take over the questions process. And thank you guys so much for staying with us and asking some questions. Go for it, Larry.
Yeah, so before we actually get into the questions, I'd like to throw a question to Roy, and that is, why should my church participate in this Indestructible event?
It's the question that I ask every single second that I spend on this project. We have to be asking those questions as a church, as a community, and me at Media Ministries. Why should we spend a moment doing this? And the answer is because your church community, that the people that live around you don't understand how much you have to offer. They see you as one thing. We need to help them understand the big picture of what becoming an Adventist does to your life. It makes you have a better experience. It gives you, at times like this, there has never been a moment since I've been alive, 50 years, that I can recall that the crises of the world has led people in your community to actually desire in a more desperate way the answers that you hold. People are living in fear. They're living without hope. They feel completely alone and separated from people that care. This is the greatest opportunity that God has given us in my entire lifetime, perhaps yours as well. This is the moment when people see us as more relevant than they've ever seen before, and what we have to offer, our message, our lifestyle, our culture, it's never been more relevant and desired by the people in your community than it is now. Now's the time for us to act. And I have to say, and the guys don't know I was going to say this, the technology that these guys have put together, when they showed me at the very beginning just to see if I was interested in partnering with them, I wish I would have had this when I was a local church pastor, because these are the connections I always wanted to have. I just never had the technology to help me do it. Now's the time when people are watching things online. This entire event is online. It checks all the boxes to connect people to you at the local level. And the people in your community are saying, I need this. I'm desperate to know how to build an indestructible life, because the world is falling apart and I don't want to fall apart with it. So I'm excited to partner with you, because this is the greatest opportunity I've ever seen in my lifetime to actually be the answer to the greatest question that my community is asking.
Thanks, Pastor Roy. And I'm going to throw a question right back to you. One of the first questions that we got. So is this sort of like a health seminar? Or what is this content actually?
It is a health seminar and so much more. This is a life coaching seminar. We're helping people in the 5 key areas of life. This covers the holistic experience of how to live your best life possible, how to become indestructible in a world that's falling apart. So it covers 5 different key areas, but I really feel personally, this is the approach that will attract and connect you with the people you've always wanted to connect with, is because this is helping people who are looking to make the life changes within their own daily practices, the changes that will help them live better. Well, we have those answers. There are 8 common practices that we as a Blue Zone, we do without even thinking about it. And we wouldn't break the rules because it's just part of who we are as Seventh-day Adventists. People don't know what they are. And so what we're doing is helping them with life coaching. We start out, and I want you to understand this because some people who have such a very specific view of what we have to offer as only theological, some people may be a little confused after the first night, because the first night, I'm helping people understand a difference in perspective of how you approach life with your personal attitude. And what I'm helping people do is understand that we typically define ourselves with the box that surrounds us, and we don't define us by the gem that's inside the box, the gem that God made you to be, the valuable things that we need to invest in, and the invaluable things we need to ignore. And so we begin them on this journey of understanding there's a different way, there's a different perspective to look to grow. We encourage them to connect with us if they want to learn more about this. What is this different perspective? The second night, we deal with wellness, where we introduce them to the fact that this life coaching is coming from a Blue Zone perspective. And if you incorporate these 8 practices in your life, like the Adventists do around you, you will live longer, you'll live better, you'll live healthier. It actually helps your finances and your relationships as well. And so we help them understand that there is a way to live better. Now, we do include biblical principles, biblical quotes, but we do it in the same way that Tony Robbins does, Jack Canfield does, any of these big life coaches do. They'll tell you straight out they're Christian, they believe in God, and if you don't connect with the divine, with the God that we know, you're going to miss out on the greatest life success and even understanding why you're here and the context of your life purpose. And so as we go through, it's very much a life coaching approach that if you look at the Google Analytics right now, people are searching for coaching more than anything else. And so we're helping them understand there's a way of life, and there's actually a community, a people group that are on the same journey. If you want to have this journey, why don't you join us? We're on this journey as well, to live longer, to live better, to connect with the divine, and to truly connect with why we're here. Why did God make us? What's your divine purpose? So it's not a health show, but it does talk about health. It's not a secular show because it connects people with the fact that this way of life is actually connected to a community, the only non-geographic specific Blue Zone that scientists and journalists are saying, we're still trying to figure this out because their way of life is showing it's a better way of life. So it's helping people connect with, in a life coaching format, to a better way of living and how to answer their greatest question right now is, how do I have a year that's different from last year? And to be able to survive as this thing just, this way of life, this new normal seems to just never end. And so we're giving people answers and keys to improving their life while everyone else is living in fear and seeing things crumble in their life.
Chris Evanson has a question about the mechanics of the meeting. The presentation is 30 minutes. Is there anything else? You know, what are we talking about? Just trying to understand the mechanics of the program.
And by mechanics, I'm going to have to answer 2 different ways because I want to make sure I'm answering your question. So I'm going to answer them briefly, but 2 different ways. Mechanics, if you're looking at the structure of what we're built in studio, I'm presenting these 5 keys, 1 key per night, but we also have clips, and these clips include star athletes. I have on the first night, I have work done, NFL player who now is a partial owner of the Atlanta Falcons. Incredible story. This guy, 2 days after his 18th birthday, his mom, who's a police officer, was shot and killed, and at age 18, he became the guardian of his 5 younger siblings and ended up, I mean, most people would have crumbled under that situation. What's he end up doing? He ends up becoming an All-American athlete in high school. He ends up becoming a star football player in college, ends up being signed to the Miami Dolphins, becomes a football star, ultimately ends his career at the Atlanta Falcons, and now co-owns the Atlanta Falcons, he did not allow the quality of his life or the quantity of his life to dictate the quality of his life. And it's because of his faith. And it's also because he found forgiveness. He actually went, and what we're really highlighting is he went in and told the guy in jail, the guy who shot and killed his mom, he said, "I forgive you." And the guy never asked for forgiveness, never admitted it. He says, "Hey, because of my faith, because of my beliefs, I just want you to know you don't have to carry this for the rest of your life." Stories like that from the actual individuals themselves. We have some really high-profile names, some that we're so happy that we were able to get before they passed away. We have Alex Trebek is making an appearance on this show as well. We have Tim Conway. We have he and his son. We have individuals that will really be attractional to the people saying their successful lives. Somehow, this church is connected to people who have found success, and they've also shared that what we have to offer as a community, they resonate with and say, this is something I need to take note of. Now, that is kind of the structure of how the program goes, where there are these segments of notable people throughout to just really help us in an allegorical way, really drive home our point. If you're talking about the mechanics of, now, how does this bring someone into my church? That's the point that I hope you really picked up from what Vince was talking about, the column that's right there to the right of the video right now. That is the place to where I have calls to action, verbal calls to action for them to click when they have interest, what they'd like to do. I want you to understand, we have at Faith for Today, we have 6-week small group curricula for each of these 5 keys that we can help you as a church. Let's say your church gets 20 people to sign up, that they want to know more about this attitude and having a different perspective of life. We actually have an emotional health curriculum, brand new, 6 sessions that you can have with those people that sign up, that walks them through while you yourself are trying to grow in that area. You now have 6 more points of contact, 6 conversations, 6 weeks of growing a relationship with people that say, I really found this valuable. And I just clicked on the button, and these people got back with me and said, hey, we want to go on this journey with you as well. Beyond that, let's say it's activity, the third night, and your group wants to do what my church at Napa did, what the Loma Linda Lopers did, and say, on Sundays in the morning, we're going to schedule a time. We're going to meet at such and such park, and we're going to walk. If people say, I need to be more active, I need to move naturally, I need to do what they were talking about in the Blue Zone lifestyle, and they click, yeah, you know what, I'd like to be active in my community. Gives you a point of contact to call them, email them, text them, and say, hey, look, we go walking Sunday mornings at 8:30 at such and such park. Come join us. We're a really fun group, and we'd love to have you join us. Guess what? Now, every Sunday morning, these people are connecting with you, befriending you, growing to love you, enjoy your humor or not, and ultimately, in the end, you're mingling with men as one who desires their good. It's Christ's method. And so the mechanics of, so how does this drive people to your church really has to do with you, the church that says, look, this event drove a bunch of people to us that say they have interest points. I view these as on-ramps into your church. We typically do events as rest stops. We do it for a moment and then we all go on. What this is mechanically very different from a typical prophecy or evangelistic event is we're providing on-ramps for people to come and make friends with you. They have common interest. And so now you get to share that common interest and share the journey with them. I hope that answered from both sides of the question that you have, Chris.
Yeah. And then you mentioned aware. What are the 5 topics?
Okay. So aware spells attitude, wellness, activity, relationships, and existence. And in the church board packet, we actually break down what each of those mean by the sense of what are we going to cover in those topics. So make sure you do what Vince said, click on the church board packet. It goes in detail there. I won't insult your intelligence by going through it again. But definitely get the church board packet. It goes in detail what we're going to cover each of those nights. And I'd love for you to take a look at that.
All right, and again, in the player, there's a link that says request free gift, and that is the gift that we want to offer to you is the board packet. It's several pages of information that really unpacks this, tells you more about it. A couple of quick questions about the technology. Vince, we got a church that did Forecasting Hope. They're already using Interest Tracker. How does Indestructible play into that?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. It bolts right in. So now you're going to be able to reach out to those people that you may be connected with at Forecasting Hope. Maybe some of the people fell through the filter on Forecasting Hope because the event was longer, or maybe just the doctrinal approach wasn't as much, or they didn't connect with the material. You can re-invite them straight through Interest Tracker, try to connect them through this program, and then every registration is going to go back in. So you're going to see, oh, that person attended Forecasting Hope. Now they've attended Indestructible. Now they're attending one of our small groups. You're going to get that big picture that's going to really help you build those relationships. So this, if you're already using Interest Tracker, or if you've done events with us in the past, this is only going to get better. If you haven't, this is a great opportunity to build those systems into place so that as you continue to do these kinds of on-ramps, as Pastor Roy said, you really start to see the big picture of where their heart is and what their interest is. And we all know that there's different points of connection with anyone, with friends or anybody in your life. You meet them through multiple points. And so what we're giving you is those opportunities. We're really just giving you a lot of people in your community and a lot of opportunities. And if you've already done something in the past, this is just one more opportunity that you can bring into that.
All right, and then a couple more things. Is there a way to be able to easily identify those who are Adventist when you using Interest Tracker so that we can focus on those who are not Adventist?
So we don't ask that question up front. So there, because Interest Tracker is developed for Adventist churches, there are systems to be able to know what church people belong to. And certainly if you have members of your church, you can tag them as members and you can filter them out of correspondence or other sorts of things. We don't ask that question up front, and I'll just be transparent. It's because it creates a lot of friction. So there isn't a way to actually say, hey, just let us know if you're a part of this church or that church, because we don't want to get into that with them at this point. We want to build trust. We want to build relationship. And wouldn't it be weird if we just walked up to everyone on the street and that was the first question we asked everybody? So that's this sort of situation. We can't ask that up front. However, there are plenty of ways that you guys can ask questions throughout this process really easily. If they make a prayer request, you can engage with them and just make that note. There's an entire section in that for Interest Tracker where you can add their church profile, what denomination they are, their connections there. So you can go ahead and say, hey, I want to pray for you, just want to find out, do you belong to a church? Is there anything I should know? And if they tell you, add it to the profile. And then you can exclude or filter out Adventists if you really want to focus on guests. But remember, our advertising, that what we've built and developed over years now, is really the skill for reaching out to those people that are not connected to your church and are most likely not Adventists. Now, we don't have all of that data or everything, but we don't approach it in that sort of coming from the inside out sort of way. We approach it with broader demographics that we've been using over the last decade. So I'm assured, and what I've seen time and time again, is that the bulk of people, especially for this type of subject matter, you're going to find a broad range of people interested.
And again, we'd like you to request the board packet. It's got great information that you can share with your church leaders. To do that, please click the free gift link that's either just to the right of the video, or if you're on a mobile device, it's just below the video screen, and give us your information, and then we'll get that sent out to you. As we close, please pray with me. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to share this time together. I pray for every pastor, every church leader that's represented on the call today. I pray that you will sustain each one. I pray that you will give us your power, Lord, to do the work that you've put before us. And I pray that our combined efforts with Indestructible will result in a great harvest for your kingdom. I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right. Thank you, everyone.